Hello, Michael here from Small Robot Studio with another Renderman 24 tutorial. Today we're going to be having a look at how to use the new Metalness node in Renderman 24 to hook up some shaders that we've created here in Substance. So here we are in Substance, and I have just got a very basic setup here with three different types of metal, as you can see. And I'm using the UDIM workflow, and if you are unsure of how to do this, make sure you check out the previous Substance to a Renderman tutorial that I created. So we're not going to go through the Substance part so much, but we are going to go through how to hook it up in Maya and Renderman. So we have got them all here. We're just going to go File and Export Textures. Now you may already have your textures from somewhere else. If you do, then you can skip this part obviously, but what we're looking for here is if we were using a PBR Metallic Roughness workflow, and you can see a list of exports here. The ones that we won't really be worrying too much about are height and emissive, because there are no emissive textures here. So the fundamental ones that we do want are the base color and the metallic. Normals obviously also are useful, and roughness. So once you've got that ready, you will just export as per usual to whichever directory that you have defined, and then we'll jump over into Maya. And hey, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, otherwise you may be missing out on the many tutorials that we're releasing for free each week here on YouTube. So here we are in Maya, we've got our model. I've just quickly created a little scene with a little single point lighting set up in an HDRI, so it's a little bit easier to see everything. We're going to select our model, and we're going to apply a Pixar surface shader to it. And then we'll go into the Hypershade editor, which is just up here, and we'll map out that Pixar surface that I've just created, and we'll start bringing in those textures. So normal workflow would be to hit tab, type in PXR texture, and you would get a Pixar texture node, and you would open up your texture. So the ones that we're going to be working with here are the base color, and you can see the UDIM ID tags there. And just as a quick reminder, in case you've forgotten, those ID tags are summarized by the UDIM tag there before the file suffix. So yeah, normally you just run that result RGB into the diffuse color, but we actually want to create a Metalness node here, metallic workflow. And instead of running it into your diffuse color, and this should sort of be self-explanatory, we run this into base color. And then the next thing, we will create a new Pixar texture node, and I'm just duplicating there. And metallic will only have grayscale data on it, so all three RGB channels will be the same. So we can grab any of those single channels, run it into the metallic, and open up the metallic that we have. So I'm just going to choose the one that's already been converted for me. And yours won't be there, but because you wouldn't have rendered this already, I have rendered this, so this is why it's already existing. And then finally, roughness. So what we do here is we'll run the result diffuse into the diffuse color. We'll run the result specular edge into the specular edge color, and the result specular face into the specular face color. But we do need another PXR texture here, and we're going to run the result RGBR into the roughness of our Pixar surface node. So we'll just grab the roughness here, open that up, and we'll also do the normal map just so it's a little bit easier to see all the bumps. So PXR normal map, run the result into the bump normal, open up your normal map, which will also respect your UDIMs as well. So it will start to render like this, and it will take a minute, and then it will refresh as it brings and converts all the normal maps and different texture maps. And as you can see, we've got our three different materials there. Just zoom in a little bit here for you to see. So we've got our normal maps. There isn't a lot of roughness on these maps, just I think on this bottom one is the main one, which you can see. And yes, the specularity is working as is intended. So that is the basic workflow for all of you who would perhaps be used to different renderers that would use the metallic workflow. This is a little bit simpler than using the inversion workflow, which is kind of what we were doing previously. We'll just hide that background for a sec so you can see that even better. So yeah, that is basically how it works. and that should be pretty easy for you guys to set up from now on. That's it for this tutorial. If you found it useful, make sure you leave a like so other people can find it, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, as we're bringing out CG and illustration tutorials every week just like this one. Become a patron and access tutorial assets, bonus content, a private Discord and more by clicking the link below.